Let's watch a movie or something. Your choice.
Ooh, let's watch a few episodes of my favorite show.
Word, fire it up. Oh jeez, it's Teen Wolf.
Just shut up and watch.
A few moments later.
Wait, why is this kind of fun?
A little longer than a few minutes later.
No, not like this. Well, I'll be damned. I kinda liked that.
You should make a video about it.
Nah, I'd probably bomb.
Many months later.
I'm just gonna be blunt to start. Teen Wolf was better than I expected, y'all. I was a skeptical, semi-willing viewer as I entered episode 1. Now, is this classic or cinematic level television like a Breaking Bad or The Sopranos? Hell no, not even close. But if that's the standard you're gonna hold a show called Teen Wolf to, then I think you need to look in the mirror and lighten up a bit. Going in, I expected this to be really edgy trash TV. The show kind of came out in that Twilight and Vampire Diaries era of pop culture, so I anticipated the apple to not fall far from the tree. But season 1 really grabbed my interest. At its core, it's really just a rom-com / teen drama with some fantastical elements to it. Allison and Scott's dynamic is kind of the typical awkward high school romance vibe, but with the added element that Scott is a werewolf, while Allison's family hunts these creatures. And that rather simple twist on the standard teen drama beat is what really carried me through seasons 1 and 2. And the villains were fine enough in these seasons. Peter is a good entry-level antagonist for season 1, and between you and me, I wish season 1 had been the end of his character. And Gerard, oh sweet old Gerard. He's a pretty effective villain, as long as you don't think about his plan like at all. Just take it at the surface level and enjoy the drama, because it doesn't really make all that much sense. But one last thing I'll say about the early days of Teen Wolf is that this show did not fuck around at all. Scott got bitten like the first 10 minutes, Allison is established as his love interest, and we get the reveal of Allison's family being hunters, all by the first episode's end credits. And every character is stereotypical in some way, so you get an understanding of the show's dynamics like that. Now, while I liked these first 2 seasons, it was largely a guilty pleasure that I fully knew wasn't great, but enjoyed watching nonetheless. But season 3? Yeah, season 3 was genuinely good. I feel like in season 3, the showrunners finally realized, hey wait, we can do horror stuff too! And this is what I was hoping for. As much as I love goofy teen drama, I love horror even more. And when you mesh the two together, well, I'm a happy viewer. Deucalion and his pack of alphas were easily the best villainous presence the show had seen, and this dude was a genuine force. We're talking true aura. I feel like Deucalion was really the first time that the show fully capitalized on how intimidating and scary werewolves should be. So the first half of season 3, or season 3A if you will, was a good step up in my eyes, to the point where we were honestly starting to teeter out of the guilty pleasure territory. And then came the second half of season 3, and what made 3B so great was that Styles was finally front and center. He is largely the main character of this season, and Styles, as a character, can't tell if what he's experiencing is actually real or not, which is a phenomenal creative choice because we get to a point where we as an audience can't tell either. And this puts us in the shoes of our unreliable narrator, makes us sympathize with him, but also keeps us on our toes as we, alongside Styles, struggle to piece together what the hell is happening. This is also great because Styles was kind of the nerdy detective sidekick of the show up until this point, so having the smartest character's mind slowly corrupted creates a genuinely intense sense of mystery. And throughout the season, Scott and Allison also hallucinate quite frequently, so it's not just Styles fighting inner demons, it's something that the entire cast has to conquer. Which puts us in a scenario where our characters can't even trust themselves or their own abilities, so how can they win? This probably goes without saying for fans of the show, but Nogasune is the best villain hands down. This evil spirit has no goal, it just wants chaos. And visually, the Nogasune also looks incredibly menacing with all the bandages wrapped around its face. And Dylan O'Brien actually got to play this villain and Styles simultaneously, and I think this emphatically cemented Dylan as the best actor of the series by far. To take a comical character and flip him on his head completely in order to portray this menacing and sadistic villain is super impressive. Before I continue on, I did just want to pivot slightly to talk about my favorite character, and it is without a doubt Coach Finstock. He is hysterical and a gem of an individual who needs to be protected at all costs. Kind of a shit coach if you really think about it, but I can look past that for a few reasons. The first being that lacrosse is a shit sport anyways, and the second being that he's funny, and in a show like Teen Wolf, you kinda need these type of over-the-top side characters. If you take the show too seriously, given the low budget and overall concept, well, you'd be setting yourself up for failure. And this character is perhaps the best example of Teen Wolf understanding what it is, so shout out Coach Finn. Now, I will be honest, I did stop watching after I finished season 4 of Teen Wolf. I was primarily on board for Derek's, incredible acting performance. But in all seriousness, as season 4 went on, I kinda just progressively lost interest in the show. Season 1 initially hooked me because it was goofy, but self-aware of its goofiness in a fun way. But then season 3 was actually really dark and capitalized on its horror elements, which made it genuinely good. I mean, the storyline with Styles over the course of season 3B, perfection. But I think the issue was there was no way to ever go back to what the show was in its first 2 seasons, now that we had gone this dark. Which meant that they had to double down on the horror side of things and just try to outdo season 3, going bigger and more convoluted than ever. And it just didn't work for me at all. As I finished episode after episode of season 4, my interest was drained with each passing second. The character dynamics just felt off, and the heart of the show was no more. I'll likely return to it at some point to finish the story, but I definitely needed a break. Though, ultimately I did watch 60 episodes of the show in one run, a little over half of it, just for my girlfriend randomly throwing it on one day with no intentions of it sticking with me. So, color me impressed. And yes, you did hear me correctly. The nerd with the video essay YouTube channel actually has a girlfriend. There's truly hope for all of us. All in all, Teen Wolf is kind of akin to something like a Cobra Kai for me. It's a guilty pleasure in a lot of ways, but there is some quality to it. And once you get over the budgetary limitations, there's a good amount to enjoy here. And if you can look past CW's low budget on a lot of their popular shows, and I know there's a lot of you who can, Green Arrow had like a dozen seasons, then I think it's fair to do the same with this show. But yeah, if you haven't watched Teen Wolf and my video has piqued your interest in it, go in expecting something cheesy and low budget, but also something that is fun and blends horror, rom-com, and teen drama elements into an entertaining concoction. But if you have watched Teen Wolf, I'd love to hear you in the comments. What do you agree with, what do you disagree with, and what would you rate the show overall? Also, should I finish the show and talk about the shitty sequel movie at some point? Until next time, peace.